Hi, I'm John Byrne with Poets&Quants, and I have with me today Erika James, Dean of Emory University's Goizueta School of Business. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, what's it like to go to the MBA program at Emory? And I'm thinking the two-year program here.
I think the best way to describe it is that it is an intensely rewarding experience. We do everything we can to make sure that the students have access to the thinking and the knowledge and the expertise that they need to be successful, not only in their first job, but in their fifth job throughout their career. So just to give you a sense of what it's like when they arrive on campus,
Great.
Our students will come in July, and they have a 2-week orientation experience. We call it an onboarding, where in week 1, the focus is really on, let's learn the community that is Goizueta. You'll be introduced to your cohort, and you'll be introduced to the team that you will be working with most intimately during that first semester when you're going through your core courses. The second week is really a primer, if you will, to the academic experience, and you get exposure to the core content from all of our 5 core areas. So by the time
And that's consulting, marketing, finance, general management, and...
So our core areas are finance, accounting, organization and management.
Oh, okay, sure.
Information systems and operations, and marketing.
Gotcha.
So
the basic disciplines in every business school.
The basic disciplines, okay. Correct, yes. And so their 2-year experience, so start with the first semester, is really going deep in each of those 5 areas.
Right.
And then their second semester, we open it up to an elective experience that allows them to have some flexibility and go deeper in areas that they're very passionate about.
And you start early because while the 2-week orientation begins in July, the actual coursework begins when the end of July, which is typically a full month earlier than many other schools. Why do you do that?
It's really to ensure that our students have every possible advantage. And, quite frankly, part of this is being driven by the recruiting needs. And so you have people coming to campus ready to hire our students before they even have access to the coursework that we're going to deliver. And so whatever we can do to set our students up for success when they have that first engagement with their recruiter and they're going through the interview process is how we want to build our program.
And doing a deep dive in your area of interest by having electives in the second semester really sets you apart from the people you're going to compete with when you show up for your internship in the summer.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're going to be able to really impress your potential employer if that's who you want to be with.
Right. So, we really hone our students or help our students think about how to differentiate themselves in the market, because there will be a lot of MBAs going out across the different schools domestically and abroad, and they need to understand how they are distinct in the market, both because of their own skill set and capability, but also because of what happened for them in that first year going through the Goizueta experience.
Right. And then what comes into play is what industry you ultimately want to be in, right? Whether it is, and that's where it goes into consulting, finance, marketing, general management. And then there's some more customized things like entrepreneurship,
yes.
Social enterprise, and things like that.
We have it all.
And the conversion rate out of your internships is very high. First off, 100% of your students get internships.
100% of our students have received internships and have for a number of years. The conversion rate is in the 60 percentile range, so that's a great number.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, that's a hard number to beat. And I will say that we're helped by our size in that regard. So take, for example, the students who have an interest in going into banking or investment banking in particular. We have a small number of students relative to a Wharton, for example, who might be going to Wall Street. But traditionally, almost all of those students, and this year it was all of those students, have convert their internship on Wall Street into a full-time offer.
Right. And even in finance, you have this alternative investing center, right?
The Center for Alternative Investments, which is, I think, part of what differentiates our finance students. So it's not only the traditional banking courses and acumen that they will get going through our curriculum, but it's also access to these alternative approaches, private equity, real estate, you name it. They're
Venture capital,
they're
hedge
an
funds.
increasing number of alternative ways of thinking about investment, and we want to make sure that our students are exposed through this center. They have access to faculty and to people in the field who are really doing this kind of work, and they're working hand in hand with them to learn the
Right.
alternative space.
And the outcomes for your students are extremely good. The stats are off the charts. Talk a little bit about that.
In terms of our placement,
Employment, yeah.
so we have been number one or tied with number one for a number of years now in terms of 98% of our students have received placement after their 2-year experience at Goizueta. I mean, that's an astronomical
Yeah,
feat,
very
but I
good.
do think that it speaks to not only the caliber student that we have, but also the commitment of our faculty and our staff to ensure that they are more than adequately prepared to succeed and perform at a high level when they go out into their internships. And it's also the commitment of our career management staff to really build the relationships and help them understand what the Goizueta brand offers.
Right. And Atlanta is a place with a lot of rich business relationships and a lot of big companies, and that's got to play into this as well, I would imagine.
It certainly does, and in a number of ways. Not only do we have a number of our students who will seek internships or have full-time offers in Atlanta-based companies, but our access to the business community in Atlanta has really helped enhance and supplement their academic career.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we can call on a Coca-Cola or a UPS or a Home Depot or a Delta, CNN, all of those
Yeah.
are partners and friends of the school, and so we have access to those executives. We have real-world business problems that our students work on with their executives, and so I think that is a way in which our students understand what it means to be in business because they experience business firsthand going through our program.
Right. So one last question for you. What's your best piece of advice for someone who wants to come and be an MBA at Goizueta?
I would say the best piece of advice is to really get to know the school. You're making a significant commitment, 2 years of your time, significant amount of money through tuition and living expenses to get this degree. And not all degrees are created equal. And really the best experience you have, regardless of where you choose to go, is when you can align your interests, desires, and passions with what the school is able to offer. And so the better prepared you are, the more you do your homework before you make that choice, the better you will be. And I think that Goizueta is one of those rare schools that really offers the academic rigor, the intimate learning environment that allows for both a set of high performance to be achieved, but also in a supportive environment. And we do so in a community, the Atlanta metropolitan area, that allows them to have access to the business world in ways that you couldn't get in some other places.
Terrific. Dean James, thank you.
Thank you.
This is John Byrne with Poets&Quants. Thanks for joining us.